Welcome to the Magnetic Mama Club. I'm Alyssa, energy healer, spiritual soulpreneur, and mindful mama, here to help you reconnect with your soul's purpose and show up as the most authentic version of yourself. In this space, you're part of a community of conscious mamas who trust their intuition and own their magnetic desires. Together, we'll explore how to honor your needs, mother with clarity, and embrace your authentic power. Your journey to a more empowered magnetic life starts now. Welcome back to Magnetic Mama Club with your host, Alyssa, show all about motherhood, magnetism, and mindfulness. Today I have on a friend, LexyRose Scott, who is incredible. Scott is a world-renowned transformation specialist and divine channel, trained as a breathwork facilitator and holy fire Reiki master. Once a sought-after celebrity fashion stylist and brand consultant, LexyRose found herself battling burnout and addiction, ultimately leading to a profound healing experience that changed the entire trajectory of her life. Through this transformation, she discovered her calling to guide others in breaking free from stress, limitations, and old patterns to create lives of ease, creativity, and abundance. Now, as the host of the legendary podcast and founder of the Legendary Method, she helps female entrepreneurs, visionaries, CEOs, and creatives dismantle burnout, activate their full creative power, and manifest a deeply fulfilling life. Her work blends energy healing, soul-led strategy, and subconscious reprogramming to help women step into their limitless potential with ease, clarity, and conviction. Actually, neighbors, we connected on Instagram and realized we lived down the street from one another, and we're like, let's grab coffee. This was before I became a mom, but I actually was pregnant at the time, and I hadn't told anybody yet. Early in the pregnancy, and I just met this girl, so I wasn't going to tell her, hey, I'm pregnant. But we ended up meeting, and something about her energy, I just felt really safe, like telling her things. And she mentioned to me that, she felt that there was a spirit baby, or like she felt the presence of possibly a pregnancy, or just like my sacral chakra was like really giving her some type of message. Again, I didn't tell her or divulge any information, but I just thought that was fascinating in the back of my mind. And after that conversation, we just connected and we became friends. And that was 2 years ago. And now here we are in the same mom group, in the same Woo Mom Club, living, really similar lives and provide Reiki. We both are very spiritual. Did an event together last year, which was for Mother's Day. Really amazing to be part of her experience and her work that she offers to so many women. Haven't experienced her experience IRL or virtual. It's a must. I've done a ton of her breathwork experiences in the city, and they just always are so different, and they're always providing something that I need in that time. I think breathwork is such an amazing tool that we can come back to time again, especially as moms, to really help us to regulate our nervous system, build resilience, clear out anything stopping or blocking us from living a life that we really desire, and really clearing these limiting beliefs that we may not even be aware of, or these patterns or these wounds that, are being triggered in motherhood. And then through the Reiki, she does such a really beautiful job of helping you stay grounded throughout the whole process, feeling really safe. It is really fascinating. And, she wasn't always like this. She went through struggle. She went through pain. She went through things that led her onto this path. But motherhood was really that portal and this opening into who she is now and how she's helping other moms and other entrepreneurs and women who are highly achieving, really wanting big lives, but are somehow blocked and unable to call in and receive. And that's what I've seen a lot, and she sees a lot with mothers, is that we have a hard time receiving. We have a hard time getting help or asking for help or receiving our own happiness and abundance. We're so much giving and giving to other people and to our child and children and the whole family, that like we are the first nervous system of the whole house, and we need to be leading the house with this place of compassion, of this place of more resilience, and with love and joy. And so this conversation really is amazing. I'm really excited for you to hear it. There's so many things you can take away from it that are so practical. And she has an incredible amount of resources on her website that you can choose from. So I did a visionary session with her, which was a private container that I wanted to just get more clarity on what I'm calling in right now. I think as a mom, it can feel like really hard to have this clear vision and to know exactly what you're looking for. And so having somebody help you stay accountable and also see your blocks, see your potential and see where you could be going is so powerful. In just 30 minutes, she came up with all of these ideas for me. She helped my creativity expand so much deeper. She saw all of my energy centers and really described like what I should be leaning into. And from there, she actually even made me a custom higher timeline activation. So this is a meditation that I listen to. It's 7 minutes. It helps me tap into my subconscious and all the desires I want to create based on the conversation we had that was so custom to me. And it's a great way for me to start my morning and end the night. I do this every single night lately, and it's been really helping me to just get into that energy and that frequency of the mom and the creator and entrepreneur and all the things that I want to be. So can't wait to hear what you think about this episode. And we definitely are going to have to do a part 2.
So if you are not driving, right, you want to find yourself in a comfortable place. If you're standing, that's fine. Just feel both feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in. Call back all your energy from all space, time, people, places, and things. And exhale out. Let everything and anything in the way of you go. You can connect now to a waterfall of really bright, vibrant light, universal life force energy streaming down through the top of your head. Let it wash over your face, softening your jaw, streaming down your throat into the safety of your heart. Take another breath in and an exhale out. And perhaps set the intention for yourself that something in this episode inspires you or ignites you, or maybe you have a prayer or something that you want to know or understand, that it comes through for you today. And I know that that is my intention for you, that you feel a little bit more inspired, uplifted, and you remember the magnificent being that you are and always have been. Just feel that subtle shift in your shoulders, in your heart. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back in or continue on your walk or wherever you are.
Hello, LexyRose.
Hello.
Welcome to Magnetic Mama Club.
Thank you for having me.
You are the definition of magnetic, and
Thanks.
everyone around you just feels your presence, your energy,
Thank you.
your magnetism.
Can you tell my husband that? Thank you.
Right. They're like, yeah, same. So Lexi and I met a few years ago through Instagram, as I meet many of my friends.
Yeah.
And it's like we already were friends. Like we just connected instantly. We met for coffee, and it's like you gave me a therapy session in 1 hour. It was just incredible. And you just saw me. You just saw me, and I think that's what you do for people. You see their potential and you see their worth and what they can't see in themselves. And that's how you always have been. You've always been a supporter for me. And you also felt the energy of a spirit baby. Like I was pregnant, but you didn't know that. And so, once you said that to me, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, like she's legit. Like, I need to be in her presence. And then I, told you I was pregnant a few weeks later because I was very early on and I just met you. But I'm just so grateful for who you are. And I'm so excited for people to hear your wisdom, the work that you do, how motherhood has really transformed you, and how you think it can really help other women in this journey too. So if you want to start by sharing what your mothering style is.
Yeah. So my mothering style started out to be very much, I guess it's what everyone calls this helicopter style of parenting. I had a lot of fear and trauma within myself, right? The first 2 years of motherhood, I think I brought on a lot of the things that my mother instilled within me. I mean, don't get me wrong, my mother is incredible, but she did have a lot of fear, like, oh, you can't do that, or oh my God, you can't go swimming, or, she did make sure that I learned how to swim and these types of things, but there was always a lot of fear around all of it. Like we had a pool at our house and she would freak out if like any of us were outside without her. I was like 10 and she was still having a meltdown about it. But so when Scarlett, my daughter, was first born, every little thing I was so scared of. Like when she started walking, I was like freaking out. And my husband was like, you have to let her have her experience. You have to let her have her experience. But because I was in such a state of stress and fear and uncertainty within myself, we were in the pandemic, I had just switched careers and I didn't even have a career. I was a new mom. I had just moved, all of these things, right? There was so much fear within myself that I was projecting onto her. And in the moments that he would share this with me, I really realized that it was important for me to slow down. But it wasn't until I had the tools within myself, and it wasn't until I felt safe within myself that I could really allow her to have her experience.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think was that shifting moment for you in motherhood that kind of like brought you to the work that you do now for yourself, for women?
I just started doing Reiki when she was 3 months old. And I think that was the beginning of the work. You know, a lot of when you start doing something like Reiki, a lot of the things that are not necessarily true will come to surface because you're becoming more aware, you're expanding, your energy is clearing, and the things that aren't aligned are being shown. So a lot of my fears were becoming very present to me because it was showing me it was time to work through.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't really love the word of work, but I think it was time for me to accept those parts of myself and learn to love myself and learn to really put my oxygen mask on before everyone else's. Because my whole life, I think I was like this helper and I would always do and go out of my way. And I felt depleted and then I'd get resentful and I felt unsafe within myself because how could I trust myself if I was never really showing up for myself?
Right. And the work you do now, you are a transformation coach, you are a Reiki healer, you are a breathwork facilitator. If you haven't done Lexi's experience, I can't recommend it enough, both online and in person's obviously incredible. Every time, I love what you say about breathwork is that you can share what it's like that every time is different.
Yeah. So I share this offering. It's called The Experience. It was something that I had first experienced when my daughter was 3 months old, and I can get into that in a bit. But every single time you go to do this experience with me, whether it's privately in session or in a real life group experience, which are really powerful and potent, it's like going to dinner, right? You will always, you can go to the same restaurant every time, but you will always have a unique experience.
Yeah.
And that is life, right? And I do believe that the safer we feel within our bodies and within ourselves and accepting of ourselves, we can meet all challenges and we can show up, right, as our most true self.
What was like that pivotal moment, I guess? I know your story, but for people who don't know, like your background, who you were before you were this person, and what really, I think motherhood just softens you. It brings you back into your authenticity, your purpose, and alignment. Yeah. So I know your daughter was 3 months old when this kind of came about. What was like that pivotal moment of like, I need to change, and how has it transformed you?
Okay. So a few things. This person that I am now, you mentioned, I think I've always been this person, and it's now really allowing myself to be this person, right? I think all of us are that person already, and it's the allowance and releasing the shame and the doubt and the idea that we have to be anything different than we are, which takes time, right? And having compassion in that. So I was a stylist before, okay? And I think that my daughter's spirit literally is what shifted the whole trajectory of my life. I was a stylist. I was really burned out. I was going through a lot. I was suffering with an addiction, an eating disorder, depression, anxiety, debilitating. But I kept going to hospitals and doctors and therapists and just trying to get to the root of why I felt constantly like I needed to fill something within myself. Like I needed to control. I needed to be everything but who I was. And I got to the point where I couldn't keep going. Like I couldn't keep going the way things were. I knew it. And my mother literally was like, Lexi, like, she didn't know about my addiction and things like that. It was something that I hid so much, and there was so much shame around it. But she's like, you're not doing well, and you got to figure it out. And it really got me thinking, like, this work, the styling, the one thing that I so identified with that gave me a sense of peace, or not even peace, but it was just this one place that I could be so creative. Yeah, creative. And my worth was tied to it and my identity. And I knew I had to kind of let it go to become who I was. So I had this gorgeous styling studio filled with clothes and collections of things, and it had a garden in the back. I totally manifested it. It was 208 East 78th. I lived at 205. Anyways, I hand over the keys to the landlord, and I was like, listen, I can't do this anymore. I have to break the lease. She was very understanding. I go home. I find out 2 weeks later that I was pregnant. And then a month later, we hit the pandemic. And when my daughter was 3 months old, I was going to a doula, and my doula said, I was talking to her about sleep and all the things, and she's like, you are really not doing well. Wow. And for me to hear that from someone kind of made me spiral, right? Because she was a support system, but I guess she felt like she couldn't give me the support that I needed, right? I had a therapist too. So one night I was on Instagram and I found this class, Breathwork and Reiki. I did the class virtually, and in that class I felt connected to something greater. I understood what it was like to feel safe in my body. It was such a foreign thing to me. I felt inspired. I felt like I know that this feeling of safety, this feeling of acceptance that I feel right now is something that every single person should experience. And this is what I am going to share with people. And from that day on, I learned Reiki, got my certification in Reiki, slowly became less of a helicopter mother, learned breath work. And then I really allowed myself to be the intuitive that I am, that I've always been. As a stylist, I would work with artists and they would always say, like, how did you know that? Or what did you know? And I think that's what also made me so creative. Like, I could tap in. So allowing myself to be a psychic, allowing myself to be an intuitive and not worry about other people's judgments of that, that really also helps me help people guide them back to themselves.
I mean, you do such a good job of it. And the women you work with, I think a lot of them are high achievers. They are women that want big things in life.
Yeah,
they have desires, but they're limiting themselves for some reason. There's blocks, there's fears, there's programming, and you move that for them. I mean, they're the ones doing the work.
We do it together.
We do it together.
Yeah.
What would you say is the common thread you're seeing in all these women? Because I think a lot of women that listen resonate with this. I think motherhood, for me at least, it was the first time I kind of allowed myself to trust myself more, to just not be in this kind of like hamster wheel of trying to get it all done and do it all and be it all. And
it really slows you down.
Slow me down and just like be in like this presence. And so I think that's kind of similar to the work you do through obviously the Reiki and the breath work. What is happening with the breath work? How is it moving things? Like, how can people use these tools that are already within them to create the life that they want? Like,
So you asked another question first. So what is a common theme that I see? One of the most common things that I see is a resistance around receiving, the need to do it all, like not wanting to ask for help. So when people start working with me, I really notice the ones that are the most high achieving. I have Telegram as part of, like, it's messaging, right? Because for me, you could do the breathwork in session. We do the Reiki. I help you identify the blind spots. The Telegram is where all the repatterning happens. Because once you leave a session, you can have a breakthrough, but if you don't have the tools afterward, you'll go back to the pattern.
Yeah. Because your ego's like, it wants you to feel safe.
Right.
It's like,
unfamiliar. So I kind of, I'm the support there to remind you of what's true and where you're going. And then you just have the tools and you know where to go. So I find that women, the most high achieving, right? They don't want to drop into that Telegram.
They like resist it.
They resist the support. And when you're resisting that support, you're resisting the support in terms of finances, right? If you want your business to grow, how can you make more money if you don't know how to receive? You are resisting the support around your partner showing up for you, around your team showing up for you, your family. Because I think there are these beliefs that we have to do it all alone, but we're here on earth to do it all together. And, Ram Dass says, right, which you've heard on so many podcasts and things, but it's so true. Like, we're all walking each other home. And when we allow ourselves to be in collaboration, things can expand so much quicker.
Yeah.
So the breath work is really good for nervous system regulation. It's really good to help open up new neural pathways. So when you have the limit here and you're breathing, you can expand beyond what you think you know.
Which I know there's so much talk about nervous system regulation. It's like the hot topic on Instagram and everything. And I do it. Like, I love the framework of regulation. But what I've realized, it's not about being calm all the time. Like, that is not what regulation is. But
it's having resilience. So when your nervous system is regulated, you can have the resilience. So when you do
and come back to your baseline
quicker. So when you do the breath work, practices like breath work, and when you have something like Reiki, you have an awareness now within you. You can feel your both feet on the floor. You can think more clearly. You're responding from a place of creativity and safety. When you are in fight or flight, you are responding from fear, doubt, and scarcity. So what does that create in your life?
Fear.
Right. More chaos, right? So when you have a bad day and you're like, oh my God, I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad, all that will multiply and multiply. But those mornings when you give yourself that 3 minutes in the bed to maybe set your intention or like drop into your body, have a minute of gratitude, or I don't know, wash your face before going right to the kids. You fill your cup, right? You feel a little safer in your body. And when you feel safer in your body, you're a better parent, you're a better wife. You enjoyed life more. And my goal is to help people feel so safe in themselves, so confident in themselves that they can create whatever reality that they desire.
And what about manifestation? I mean, you touched on obviously the receiving piece, but like at the work, what do you see as the most powerful, potent tools for manifesting and really co-creating with the universe? And
I really think it's the safety. So once you feel safe and you are open to possibility, that's when possibility can arrive.
yeah,
Breathwork is an incredible way, especially combined with Reiki. It's like that's the signature experience. It's profound. It really gets you out of your own way. You come up with new ideas, inspiration. You feel connected to something greater, and it puts you in a vibration that you can collapse time very quickly. Like I've had clients come into session with me, and in the session, we simply talk about the kind of job that they want to have. They do the breath work, the Reiki, and they will send me messages. This has happened more than one time. Lexi, that job we were just talking about, I just got an email while we were in session. Like insane things happen very quickly. When you are intentional, when you are open up to what is possible, when you remember who the F you are, which you are, you are just spirit and body. You're the divine energy in body. It is all possible for you.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like motherhood kind of throws people off of their purpose a little bit because they're like, what is my purpose now?
Right. I think it gets you back on purpose.
Back on your purpose.
Yes.
But the women, I guess, high functioning, like some of them don't want to return to work, or maybe they're having anxiety or they're feeling guilt about like wanting to still have this
guilt is another thing I see a lot too.
Being a mother and showing up for themselves and what they love. Like,
right.
How do you work through that?
Yeah, I think it's so important to know, like, how can you support your child and how can you be an example to them if you're not nurturing yourself? Yeah. And you're teaching them. The way you care for yourself is also what you're teaching them, right?
What I heard recently is that your child picks up
mirrors
your
nervous system. They will adapt to your.
Not even that. What? They inherit your nervous system.
Yes.
Because you are, before you're pregnant, like your genes, your genetic expression is then being put on.
Yes. And I will tell you about both of my kids.
Too.
So Scarlett, as I mentioned before, I was suffering with addiction. As soon as I found out I was pregnant with her, I stopped everything. And addiction really was, I was prescribed medication when I was younger. My mom was always opposed to it. In high school, I was like, no, I need this medication. Then this medication ended up becoming a crutch. And when I found out I was pregnant, literally I was 2 weeks pregnant. That day I was like, that's it. I'm done. I am done. And in that process, like her spirit definitely led me to, I don't know where I'm going to tell you this. Like I ran into a therapist a while back and he's like, I am so happy that I see you here and the way you are, because honestly, Lexi, I didn't know if you were going to like live. You know what I mean? Like I was in such a rock bottom place in my life.
You're going to make
we can cry. But I was. And she came in and she changed everything for me. Yeah. So I was a little anxious when I was pregnant with her and when she was born, but so her nervous system, she wants to be with me a lot. She just wrote this like mother's thing. I think I read it to you last night. She's like, what's your favorite thing to do with your mom? And it's like to snuggle her. Yeah. And somehow the kid's now in my bed every night. But you know what? I'm letting that be. If that is what feels good for her right now and that's what she needs, I'm here for it. And it's not in a way that it's compromising me. Like I'm happy for it. And then my son, Leo, is like, so I was doing Reiki the whole time with him, right? Like he was in breathwork sessions with me and he was in the rooms. Like he just has this demeanor that's like, I don't know. He has this
old soul.
He's an old soul. He's very happy, like just such a happy baby. Scarlett was not. Scarlett was cranky a lot. Like he's just happy. He's so excited to be here. He's like, I'm here in life. I'm on earth again. Let's go. Like everything to him is like this exciting thing. Scarlett's a little different. I love her obviously, and she's wonderful. But he definitely, I was such a happy pregnant lady with him. I was like the happiest pregnant person on earth. Yeah. With her, I was very much not. I was going through it, And
I think that's important to note is that like, postpartum depression and anxiety is so real. Pregnancy, depression, all of these things are so real. And you can, like you said, to receive the help.
Get help. Get help.
Get community. Get support.
Yes. Because
again, it is dictating the well-being of your entire
household
and your house, because you are the nervous system of your house.
Yeah. And I always say this to women, my clients. I'm like, you are the leader of that home. We really are.
but it's also letting the man lead too and softening
True.
in that. So it's
True.
like, how do you find the
You're right.
balance?
But what I'm saying is, in terms of leading
Yes.
energetically,
Yes.
I think we set a tone. We set
Yeah.
a precedence
Yes.
in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, of course, having the balance. But there is something about the woman, you know, let the man come forward, let the man help, let the man do things, or whatever, you know, whatever way you identify, or whoever is in whatever energy. But I don't know.
Lead your life is your
Lead your
motto.
life is my motto. So
It's
when I'm always
trademarked.
it will be trademarked soon. No, but I remember when I first had Leo, I went back to work like I think a month later, or no, I'm lying. 2 months. I don't know. I just wanted to get right back in, not because, you know, just because all right, like we're good. Like I have help now. I love my baby. I work from home. I can drop in between sessions. And sometimes I would start going into the excuses, you know, like how can I do this? And I remember like it's just one decision.
Yeah.
You can decide you can do it and you can do it. And it's not in a way to bypass, but it's a way to really trust yourself.
Yeah.
You can have it all if you want.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do it all alone.
You don't have to do it all alone. Yeah. And I think you start realizing what is worth it, because you can't have it all, but what is worth it? Sometimes you can't have it all at once. Maybe there's
right. And there's a process and there's a timing to everything. And whatever you feel is not aligned for you, trust those things. And this is something that I think really led me into a lot of the spirals in my life, is that I wouldn't trust those intuitive things that I knew in my body were true for me. Like I was always outsourcing my power to other people. If someone said, oh no, that's not correct, like I would believe it, even if it felt off with me. Right. So I really kept it's like I would just abandon myself left and right. And I'm not judging it, but all those years I self-abandoned.
Do you think with age that also changed? Because I feel like there's something about being in your 40s. Like I just have heard that 40 is like you just change. Like it's like an overnight thing where you feel like you don't give a shit about things anymore. I mean, I feel like 30s is like the roadway into your 40s of like you start to not care. You start stripping back the layers of like ego and
I mean, I'm 41. I just turned 41. So I think it's also the baby. I think it's just life experience. I think you just start realizing, for me, when my daughter was 3 months old, though, that's really when everything quickly changed, because I was putting so much emphasis on everyone else's perception of me and of the way I thought things had to be. And, you know, I'm like hearing the Frank Sinatra song now. I did it my way. I think it's like, your way is the best way. Your way is the best way.
Yeah. And you'll even tell me, like, I think for me, it's Stevie was the chillest baby. And I do attribute that to the work I did before and during the Reiki. Like I spoke with my spirit baby guide, who Emily I had on the show, and she was like, she loves the Reiki. You have to keep sending it to her. Send it to the hospital room ahead of time. Like I kept doing it, and I still use it for her. Like even with you, you're like,
I say to set up the room and right.
And you're like, send her Reiki. Let her put the meditation.
Oh yeah, that meditation. We'll put it in the link in the bio. It's this dream. It's this incredible meditation that puts all of everyone that I know's kids to sleep. And I played it my whole pregnancy.
I have a video. I don't think it was yours. It was just me giving her Reiki at one point. But
I remember
when her eyes were just open wide and she was laying there in bed, and I just like literally gave Reiki.
So Reiki
immediately.
They love it.
It doesn't always work. Always work. If sometimes she needs to be held, like you said. She needs me. She needs my nervous system to co-regulate.
Yeah, they need it.
But I will say, if I didn't have the tools to regulate myself, I couldn't show up for her in that way. There are times if I'm triggered, like I'm like, shit, I don't want to be holding her right now. It's 2 a.m. I want to be sleeping. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also want to draw attention to this. Like, I think it's important for us to also realize sometimes there might be days where you can't regulate and they're not regulated, and it's life. And having compassion for yourself for those moments and those times, and just knowing that, okay, this happened, next time I can do better. Right. And I think that's another thing. We can get in these spirals of the past too. This is just coming in, so I've got to share. We can get into these spirals of the past of like, this didn't work out, and this and this. But okay, where are we right now? We have this life. We're living it. What can we do in this very moment to bring us to who we know we are?
Yeah. I love that. It's so true.
And if you don't have tools like Reiki and breath work, whatever, like what makes you feel good? What's a nourishing thing that you can do? Can you go take a walk?
Yeah.
Can you call your friend?
But you have these tools for a reason on your site, your boutique.
I do. My boutique.
That people can get a
Yes.
taste of your work if they
Yes.
are not ready to fully dive in.
Yeah.
If they're not in the city and they're not able to come to a group
Right.
session or do a one-on-one with you.
Right.
So
Yes. I have
love
my
that.
boutique meditations. And also, I'm sure there's a lot of moms with new businesses because this is part of it, right? You become a mom and then all of a sudden you have this whole new idea of what you want to do. Your values change. I have a meditation and it's an audio, it's a practice, a PDF, a meditation. It's will release all your scarcity around money and it will open you up to expand and receive. It is called the Holy Fire Money Activation. It is incredible. I use this with all my female entrepreneurs. I use it on myself. It is like clients have done it. They've called me. They're like, I just got a contract signed. I just got presented with a contract for $30,000 or I was owed money and I literally just got the payment in my account. I'm not kidding you. When your energy change and when your belief system changes, your reality will change.
Yeah. It's overcoming that, I guess, is the hard part because people, well, you'll even tell me. So like, here's a good example. You'll say, this doesn't happen as much anymore, but you would say to me, people would cancel their session last minute or they would get sick or they wouldn't come to the group experience. Yeah. And you're like, they weren't ready for it maybe. Like their ego wasn't ready to face what they needed to face.
That it too. Or just not in alignment, right?
Yeah.
And we have to also trust that sometimes when things don't work out, we don't know what's actually happening on the other side. We think we want, I don't know, this loaf of bread, right? But on the other side, there might be a sandwich that's being delivered to you. I don't know if you guys eat that on this show, but you know what I'm saying?
Sourdough, probably.
Yeah, sourdough, right? But there's always something happening behind the scenes. And I will say this, when you can invest in trust, that energy, that frequency, when you honor it, it pays back. It pays back big. You never know who's going to walk in what room. You never, and also listening to those inklings. When you feel, normally I exercise every morning at this time. If you feel like you want to go to that cafe, go to that cafe. Honor those little things.
Like follow
when you feel,
yes,
but it's a process, right? Because when you feel safe in your body, you can get the downloads. You can hear. You're not in defense mode.
Right. Like how do people, I guess that's a big question I feel like people ask me a lot is like, and I think I have the answer that's correct, but intuition versus fear. Because I feel like anxiety is loud and it's constant and it's like this
right, which is why
feeling.
Which is why
it feels so much more quiet and you have to again be in that safe.
Intuition, I would say, is something that you can't logically explain. Yeah. Intuition is a feeling within you, but it's a practice. And this is why the idea and nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, going for that walk if you need to, quieting the noise, doing whatever you have to do to feel safe in your body. That's when you can clearly feel those knowings. Like probably when some of you that are listening have met your husband, you just knew, right? Or when you knew that you didn't want to go to that doctor, you wanted to go to this one or this doula or that one. You just know certain things, even if it logically doesn't make sense, even if on paper things look a certain way, but it just doesn't feel right. You know something is not right. Please, there's a very strong message for some of you listening. Please listen to whatever you are feeling in your body that you know, even if your partner is saying it's not right, or even if your mom, whoever, your friends, you know what is right for you, and please honor and listen to that. There's a very strong message coming through for one of you.
Yeah, maybe me.
No, I'm like something with health. I think they need to really listen. You know what you need to do, and you know what is right for you. So please honor it.
I think motherhood kind of helps you get more into that driver's seat of you kind of get like that mama bear energy where you're like,
yes,
this is what's best. I don't care what anyone else says. I don't care if that doctor said that. I know in my heart, I'm her mom. I'm his mom, whatever it is,
Yeah. Whether it's for your baby or for yourself. Yeah.
So I think that women have if they don't have that safety, maybe they have a harder time trusting themselves,
right?
And they're outsourcing. And I think for me, I come back to it all the time on the show, is sleep was the biggest trigger.
Oh my God, sleep is such a
remember,
trigger.
I would talk to
but
you
it's forever. For me, it was the biggest trigger too.
Yeah.
It's such a big thing.
When will she just sleep? I would cry to you. And she does, but there's still moments last night I was up all night with her. But that was the first time that I had to shut out all the noise on Instagram that was telling me one thing. And I had to tune back in that my baby needs more support than other babies. I can't go off what this baby's sleep schedule is.
There is the sleep training and all of it. It's just, listen, I think it's great to have schedules and stuff.
I think it's great to support sleep.
But you know what you need. You know what your baby needs. The safer you feel in your body, the safer everyone's going to feel around you. The more you're able to make better choices, the more resilient you become. And
talk about the holotropic breath that is happening. I know you talked about how it's coming into your lower abdomen and we hold a lot of things
Yeah,
there and we can't really breathe in. Like, talk about that.
so when you breathe into your lower belly, you're clearing a lot of shame. You're working through shame and anger and resentment. And the heart is where we store a lot of grief, sadness, heartbreak. So when you breathe, it's a 3-part active breath. When you breathe into the lower belly and into the heart, you're giving yourself an opportunity to heal, to empower yourself. Through one of my experiences, I had an awareness of something that occurred that I was storing in my body that I had no idea happened, but it really gave me an insight as to why I had held so much shame. But I was able to witness the experience with compassion. You're clearing stuck energy. You are creating more space for you. You are activating new levels of confidence through the breath. It's something that I really feel I can speak about all day, but until you experience it, it's really hard to understand. I have a link I'll put it for my podcast episode. It is the experience. It's a sample of the breathing and the Reiki. It's incredible, and you can try it there.
Yeah.
The best way to understand is to drop into your body.
And the Reiki helps ground.
The Reiki helps. So some people say to me, I've never felt a breath work like yours. Wow, like what? It was so nurturing. The Reiki gives this energy of support, of love. You know, Reiki is not just some magical thing. It's used in hospitals around the world to help patients speed up recovery time. I know a lot of cancer patients have worked with it in hospital. It helps you on an emotional, spiritual, and mental level. It definitely dissipated all of my anxiety and depression. I do not wake up with anxiety or depression anymore. I had debilitating depression and anxiety. And I remember even like being, 10 years old, like having slight bits of depression early on and feeling anxious.
You would talk to me and I can't speak for you, but what you've said to me is that was really your gifts that you kind of were maybe, right? Like putting down.
Well, I remember this. I felt a lot. I felt what other people felt. It was a gift. It is a gift now. But as a stylist, right, when I was styling with all these people and feeling all this energy, I couldn't handle it. And that's why I think I was using meds to escape and feel safe. It gave me like a high,
The false reality, false safety.
Because I didn't.
Temporary safety.
Yes. It was a crutch. I remember my mom being on the phone with one of her friends. And I wasn't even hearing any words. I just know she was on the phone. I was in my room. And all of a sudden, I like feel really sick to my stomach. Like almost like I used to always get this almost like sad, like sick feeling, very intense. And I just had this awareness of mommy's friend has AIDS. I didn't even know what AIDS was. I just remember hearing it in my head, knowing it, and then asking my mom afterward what it was. And she didn't really want to get into it with me. And then I remember like just over time, I started hearing bits of conversation, but I literally did not hear anything. Yeah. I just knew in my body and heard. So I get psychic downloads either through knowings or feelings. So I had a combination of the feeling of it, but also the knowing of
cognizant.
it. Yeah. So when I am in session with people right away, I can see their blind spots and I can go, okay, this is coming from this. Remember when you were 5, this happened. Like I can see full picture. And that's how I think I really can help people get to the things and get out of their way.
They're not able to subconsciously see themselves or they need the guide to get them there. And that guide.
Yes.
That light.
But I don't ever like to I like to ask questions. Yeah. And they give me answers a lot of the time. And a big part of my work with my clients is helping them develop their intuition and deeper trust within themselves.
What do you think is the craziest experience you've had with a client? I think I know the answer, but.
So one time I was working with a woman who had just, I think she was in remission. And she had a profound first experience with me. And then in the next experience, she and I were working together. And I just see this. So she's doing her breath work and the Reiki, and I kind of see like part of her body lift up. And her face looked like so heavenly. And I'm like, wow, she's really relaxed. I've never seen anyone half levitate on a session, but okay, I'm just gonna hold the space. And really what was happening is an energy that wasn't any longer resonant for her was released from her body. And listen, guys, this is not really what happens in every session though. Like I really just help people feel calm, feel safe, feel confident. The craziest things that happen are the manifestations.
Yeah. Which is what so many people want. They want to manifest. And you bringing it back to the beginning of like that receiving the safety.
Yeah.
But like what are little things everyone can do every single day
To feel safe.
to feel safe and to start cultivating these things? Like, do you have a journal practice you love? I loved yesterday. We did a future self
self-activation,
meditation, and that, I cried. Like, it was 10 minutes, and I felt so safe in my body receiving that message, receiving that connection to my future self. And yeah, so what are things you can do every day?
So I have this incredible manifestation accelerator. It's a free meditation. It's infused with holy fire Reiki. One of the most powerful practices that's quite easy, I think, if you're in the right season, is to either play this meditation right when you're off to bed or play this meditation right when you're about to wake up. This is when your subconscious mind is so receptive to being programmed. So you begin to look for, possibility rather than worst case scenario. Right. And it just changes your energy. It changes your body chemistry, your brain. And when Joe Dispenza says, when you change your energy, you change your life. So I think that could be an incredible first step for you, doing this meditation at night, either first thing in the morning or right before you go to bed, to program your subconscious mind so that you're looking for possibility. You're not saying, oh, this sucks, or this isn't working out for me. You're actually looking for possibility. And when you're in that space of possibility, that's when miracles can arrive for you.
And tapping into the subconscious, I think that helps. But also breath work, you say all the time to me, is like really such a gateway and portal into the subconscious.
Yes.
And that's where the magic of reprogramming
Yes,
happens.
that's where accelerated healing takes place. So if you make the time, right? Like, so take the 20 minutes, do the meditation on the podcast, my experience that's in the show notes below. Do that. Really let yourself go in. Really give yourself the time. You've got to give yourself time.
How do you do that as a mom? It's hard.
I know, but you have to. Like, there is a way.
Yeah,
you make time for things that you want. You make
Mhm.
time to scroll, right? Like, you make time to watch that show.
Yep.
I personally don't watch TV.
I can't anymore. Like, I'm like, I don't have time. Like, I know that sounds crazy. I mean, I guess that's a limiting belief, whatever.
Right, like-
time. But I'd rather have my time go on
I
something
think-
different energy.
Yeah, I
And
think
don't
thinking about
not
things.
watch TV. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to mindlessly do nothing.
It's fine if you do, right?
But the more I've done this work, I'm like, it's like beyond even my like.
How can I fill my cup? How can I fill my cup? What can I do right now that's going to support me? I know I feel safe. When I feel safe in my body, I create a better life for myself and for my family. So what can I do today to make the difference? In the moments that I might be complaining, maybe I can do a 3-minute breath. Maybe you do 3 minutes. And then you build that trust with self.
And what are things people can possibly experience in the session that might be like scary or like, oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I know your hands can tense and that means something.
Oh, that's a good point. So I also share this in the breath work if you do it.
Okay.
Your hands might get really tight as you're doing the breath work. Your mouth might get tight. You are clearing grief and heartbreak. The hand is connected to the heart meridian and the mouth. You might feel like you're levitating. You might feel like you're being pinned down. Trust in the process. Know that you are safe. If at any point in time it's overwhelming, just relax, right? And celebrate yourself for showing up for yourself. I think when you show up for yourself, the life you want can show up for you.
Yeah, love that. What about the times, because this has happened to me a lot, and I don't know if it's like I just am not ready to face something or what it is, but like, or maybe I just need to relax more. I don't experience much. Like, it's more of just like I fall asleep. Is that my subconscious?
in the
like
Reiki?
kind of?
No, it's letting yourself relax. You
Yeah.
need to rest. You need to receive.
Like when I'm doing the
right?
breath work specifically, like there's been times when I'm like, I think I fall asleep and I like stop.
Okay,
Like, I
so
don't know,
the
my brain
Reiki,
shuts it off, and it's like, wait, we don't want you to go there.
it's a combination. Either you don't want to go there, but what I believe is, right, there's your program of thinking you need to do in order to get somewhere.
Yeah.
So why not you can also be and let yourself receive, because we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We might be sitting here and thinking we're not doing enough or being enough, but life is still happening around us. And the frequency that we're emitting and the thoughts that we are having are creating that experience that we know as life.
And your subconscious really is what's driving the show, and
Your subconscious is what looks for evidence to support your beliefs. So if you believe that life is hard, you have no time, that it's so hard being a mom, which obviously it is, it's just going to make that worse, right? So just be mindful of the things that you're thinking, right? Like in the morning, I remember at one point I was like, getting the kids ready for school is so challenging, but I'm like, let's reframe it. Let's reframe it, right? Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So let's reframe and say that this is a moment in time that I have now that is fleeting. And listen, I'm not always, let's be honest here, but we have this moment in time and it's fleeting. So how can I be present And how can I make this work for me? I think making things fun. At one point, I remember when Scarlett was younger and I didn't have any help, I was like, okay, let's make the mundane magical. And this was like a thing that I knew I had to, because I knew like, this is my life. I want to enjoy my life. So even if I'm doing laundry, like, can I make this fun? Right? So like making things a little bit more fun for you, letting it be easy, right? And even having that motto, maybe you're rolling your eyes right now, but how can you make life work for you?
Yeah.
And I love this quote. I'm going to say it again. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
It's beautiful. It's so true. And I think our children help us come back to that, like,
They do.
stillness and slowness and looking at the mundane as like the most magical thing ever. And seeing it through their eyes like really does shift your perspective, because you're like, this is like, what are you looking at? But it's like to them magic. Like they're seeing things for the first time, and I think it ignites this part of you and this
your inner child, and let yourself play. You know, I'm like, I do this. I get like one of those big Post-its and I get paint with them and I like do collages and like doing this creative kind of work with them. You can create your own vision board as a family. You know, I did that one weekend. It was so much fun.
Stevie was such a chill baby. And now she's entering her toddler energy, and she's just, I feel very expressive and like high spirit. My mom says I was a highly spirited child.
Yeah.
And she took classes on how to raise highly spirited children.
Your mom did?
My mom. Like in the 90s when she had like, but I was not like this during toddlerhood. Apparently, according to her, I was a very great toddler, but it was later in life that I became more harder to deal with and like wanted
harder in what way?
I wanted my things my way, and I fought, and I pushed boundaries a lot, and I see Stevie doing it now. And I know you kind of went through things with Scarlett, you know, and you let her express herself. Like she wears outfits. She was like, what are you wearing?
I know,
like,
I can't.
Like, how do you let those children be them?
Oh my, it's really hard as a ex-stylist, because the sloppy looks that she picks and the ugly things. I mean,
not just even clothes, but
it's a way for us to talk about it. I really let her have her creative expression, whatever that is. And she does push my boundaries. And I do tell her, this is my boundary. You can have your own.
Right.
But this is mine. You know?
Yeah.
Like I have to have limits, right?
Well, I think boundaries for children help their nervous system feel calm too.
Yeah, helps them feel safe. If everything is a free-for-all, there's no sense of support.
Yeah. Idea. Okay, what is like one final message? You kind of already pulled one, but is there any final message for the listeners that they need to hear about life and what they need to take away from this right now?
This is your one life. Really make it yours. Make it fun. Let it be easy. Go after your dreams, not in a way that's a hustle, in a way that's flow and fun, and like keep following those breadcrumbs that feel alive to you, that you know in your body are true.
How do we truly surrender? Because I feel like that's such a buzzword. To surrender, let it go. But like, how do you actually let it go?
Have fun. Just have fun. Do things that are fun. Play music in the kitchen. You know, you're feeling stressed. Fuck it. Put on your favorite song. Like, dance. Like, I can get my own way all the time, you know? And I think just give yourself permission to live.
Yeah. And when you're calling something in, how can you surrender that, like, it's working for you and you don't have to cling so tight to it? And
just know that what you desire desires you. And it could be that or something better. And even when things appear to be falling away, again, invest in that trust, because that trust will always come back. It will come back in the most magical ways. You think you want that, I don't know, house? There is a better one on its way. There is one that's even more perfect. And every single time something may not work, you're getting clearer on what it is you do want.
Yeah.
It's all helping you clarify. And the clearer you are, the quicker you can create.
But we're going to end with some rapid fire. So what is your favorite self-care? It could be Reiki, whatever it is, like your spiritual self-care thing that you have to do every morning or you love right now.
My meditation, right away. Manifestation, accelerator, meditation. As soon as I wake up, I play it. I listen. I feel into the frequency. I connect to my higher self, my true self. And then I say this prayer, and it's like, God, just show me, Spirit, show me where to go, what to do, what to say, and to who. And I open up to something greater. I do. It's so important. Like, your intention is so incredibly important, and visualization is so incredibly important. You know, and this meditation will guide you into that. And then you'll have new ideas, and you'll see that the visualization will evolve as you evolve. And the things that you thought were once impossible become possible.
Love that. What is one piece of advice you would give to your past self before becoming a mom?
You know what's right for you. You know what's right for you. Really honor it. Honor what is true for you. When you let yourself down, everyone lets you down. Everyone.
What's the legacy you hope to leave behind for your children?
Wow. I don't know. I just want them to have the best lives. I want them to feel like they can conquer the world. I don't even want to say conquer the world, but I want them to live a life that feels fully expressed, fully alive. I want them to be prosperous in all ways. I want them to make an impact on the earth, the planet, the people. I really do.
Where can everyone find you, work with you? You're going to link your amazing
Yeah.
meditations.
Follow me on Instagram, LexyRose
Instagram.
Scott with a Y.
Your podcast.
I have a podcast. I just started my Substack yesterday where I'm putting
Lexi
fashion.
Rose.
I'm really excited about it. It's fashion, it's spirituality, it's around legendary activation, which is my whole thing, like being legendary.
Yeah, talk about really quickly what your offers, the Legendary Woman.
Yeah, so Legendary is a 1-month immersion or 4-month immersion. It's for high achieving women who want to get out of their own way, clear blocks, suck energy, activate their full power to create the life of their dreams, essentially. And, we do everything from inner child healing to block releases, and I help them get really clear about their vision. I create custom audio tracks, 1 per month. If you're doing the 4 months, this reprograms subconscious mind. They begin to really experience very quick results, rapid manifestations in their reality. They feel more empowered. They find that their relationships change with their husbands. Business grows. When you feel good, life will respond to that. It's an incredibly empowering experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's transformational. But
your testimonials alone.
The thing is, though, people think like, oh my God, like I have to commit to like next month or something. And I'm like, what? It's not more work. The quicker you move, the quicker you move. It's like that's when we get in our own way. And one woman signed up with me last week and she was like so on the fence. And I'm like, yeah, you have a choice, but do the choice that's really going to honor you and support you and that when your body is right.
Well, it's
that afternoon, she got $300,000 funding for her company.
It's incredible. I feel like it's also like you have 2 choices in life. Like 2 things can be true. You choose your hard. It's hard to remain in the same place, and it's also hard to do the work. What hard are you choosing?
Exactly. Yeah. And also I think it's important, whatever choice you make in life, even if you think it's the wrong choice, let it be the right choice. Because you're here now. So how do you move with what you know?
Thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you so much.
It's so magnetic. And so many women
Wow,
have to sign up to work with you and just at least,
the activation call too, that you can book a free activation call. It's a 15-minute. If you want to chat, we can sort through what's coming up for you. I can help you identify your blocks and we'll come up with a pathway to get you where you want to go.
I know I need to do the money one.
The money activation. Yeah. Do it.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
Magnetic
me.
Mama.
Thank you.
Love you.
I love you. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Bye.